Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Izzah binti Idrus. My metric number 279480. I am from group 21. So the title we choose is the impact of exchange rate on trade in Malaysia 1985 to 2015. So first, background of study. The trade balance is the difference between the value of products exported by a country and the value of goods imported. If export surpass imports, the country has a trade surplus and the trade balance is positive. If imports outweigh export, a country or region has a trade deficit and its trade balance is negative. The actual exchange rate and the nominal exchange rate are the two types of exchange rates. The real exchange rate is an essential macroeconomics policy indicator since it represents a country's international competitiveness. The nominal exchange rate is the unadjusted average rate at which a country's currencies is exchanged for a basket of foreign currencies. The exchange rate also has an impact on a country's commerce, determining whether the country has a trade surplus or deficit. Foreign direct investment (FDI) is an individual's or a firm's investment in a country into a business in another country, and it has functioned as a key source of international capital transfer between developed and developing countries. A country's current account balance of payment is a record of its foreign dealings with the rest of the world. The current account comprises all transactions that include economic values that take place between resident and non-resident entities, except then those involving financial items. Offset to current economic values that are offered or gained without a monetary exchange are also addressed. This metric is expressed in millions of dollars and as a percentage of GDP. Okay, for 2.0 problem statement. Because the trade balance fluctuated from 1985 to 2015, we do a research study on how the exchange rate can give an impact on the trade balance in Malaysia. We also want to study how foreign direct investment (FDI) affects the trade balance. And the third one, next, to investigate the correlation between the current account balance on the trade balance in Malaysia. 1.3 Research question. How does the exchange rate give impact the trade balance? How does a foreign direct investment affect the trade balance? How does the current account balance affects the trade balance? Okay, for the objective of the study, there are three specific objectives of this research, which are: 1. To analyze the impact of exchange rate on the trade balance. 2. To identify the foreign direct investment affects the trade balance. And 3rd one is to analyze the effects of the current account balance on the trade balance. Okay, for 1.5 scope of the study. We do the research is to have better understand the impact of the exchange rate on the trade balance in Malaysia. We have collected information on the state of the Malaysian economy from 1985 to 2015, spanning 30 years. The study took us throughout the semester, gathering information and so on available topics. The study mostly focuses on Malaysia, the exchange rate, the direct impact of foreign direct investment, and also the current account balance on the trade balance in Malaysia. Okay, for 2.0 is literature review. Okay, first 2.1 theoretical review. The variables that are used in this study, which are exchange rate, foreign direct investment, and current account balance, are discussed in this review. The exchange rate is the price of a country's money in relation to another country's money. And exchange rate is fixed when countries use gold or another agreed upon standard, and each currency is worth a specific measure of the metal or other standard. Foreign direct investment (FDI) is a powerful economic growth tool, particularly for developing nations. FDI is an essential component of an open and functioning international economic system and a primary driver of growth. The current account balance is the sum of net export of goods and services, net primary income, and net secondary income to or from the rest of the world. K2.2 Empirical Review. In this research, we use 15 journals. So first, the empirical influence of real exchange rate on the trade balance of numerous developing nations using the three-stage least squares method, and discover that there is a positive relationship. There is an indication that their trade balance are materially different. Real exchange rates have an impact. According to Eisenman and Noy 2005 and Coulomb 1988, FDI and trade have a bidirectional relationship. Shiva Esmaki and Agapi Somaru 2004 studies show that FDI and trade have a favorable influence on economic growth. However, the magnitude of this benefit varies among nations depending on human capital, domestic investment, infrastructure, macroeconomic stability, and trade policy. Using modern co-integration and error correction approach, this paper investigates the dynamic link between Australian imports and exports in both the short and long term. The analysis has direct implication over the specification and estimation of Australian import and export functions and resulting elasticity estimate. Okay, for the literature gap, based on all the journals studied, none has shown the method of autocorrelation and heteroscedasticity test being used to see the relationship between the independent variables stated and trade balance, which is a dependent variable. So this study focuses on studying the relationship between the dependent variable and all the independent variables with more detailed empirical analysis like descriptive statistic, multiple regression analysis, as well as all the diagnostic checking such as normality tests, autocorrelation tests, heteroscedasticity tests, and multicollinearity tests to further support our study on the relationship between exchange rate and trade balance.
Good morning everyone. My name is Lao Yi Chan and my metric number is 279672. Now I will continue the presentation. 3.0 Methodology. 3.1 Theoretical framework. The variables in this research are divided into two types. Dependent variable. The measure of axis in a side project measure and mean how change in the independent variable affect the dependent variable. In this research, the dependent variable is trade balance. Independent variable, a part of a side project that is changed by spectator rather than by different factors in the analysis. Exchange rate, FDI, and current account balance are on the whole independent variable. 3.2 Econometric model. Then, the multiple regression model was applied in this research. Multiple regression is unified to clarify the connection between numeral control variable and one response variable. 3.3 Certification of variable. Dependent variable. Trade balance. The adjustment of how much one nation commodity and import for the special time frame. Independent variable. Exchange rate. The value of one nation current rather than the exchange rate is the value of economic zone. Foreign direct investment (FDI). The acquisition of a state in a partnership by an organization of a spinal backer based outside of its limit. Current account balance. When run by the government administration record their finance exchange with the remainder of the world. 3.4 The data and sampling method. The research relied on quantitative data from 1988 to 2015. The series data were used in this research which spanned 31 years. The dependent variable trade balance is estimated while the independent variable exchange rate (FDI) and current account balance are posted in US dollar. 3.5 Method of analysis. Multiple regression analysis and the ordinary least square method (OLS) are applied in this research. 4.0 Result and discussion. 4.1 Declarative analysis. When compared to one other variable, trade balance has the greater mean and median values. Among the variables, the exchange rate has the lower mean and median value. The greater maximum value was recorded by trade balance, even though the lower maximum value was observed by the exchange rate. The greater minimum value was recorded by the exchange rate, while the lower minimum value was recorded by the current account balance. The standard deviation for trade balance, exchange rate, and FDI are all lower than the mean. However, the trade deviation for current account balance is greater. With long right tail, the trade balance, exchange rate, FDI, and current account balance are all positive square, and all of variables have a positive consistent value indicated that have a held tail. 4.2 Correlation analysis. According to the table, the trade balance and the exchange rate have a positive relationship that has a weak positive correlation. The relationship between trade balance and FDI is similarly positive, with a weak positive correlation. The trade balance and current account balance relationship in line spell positive, indicating 4.3 Multiple regression analysis. According to the table have been shown, we will know on average if all independent variables are 0, then the trade balance is negative $8.55 billion. On average holding FDI and current account balance constant, if exchange rate increased by $1, then the trade balance increased by $3.78 billion. On average holding exchange rates and current account balance constant, if FDI increased by $1, then the trade balance increased by $0.79 billion. On average holding exchange rates and FDI constant, if current account balance increased by $1, then the trade balance increased by $1.05 billion. However, the probability of F statistic is equal to 0 is indicated then the model is fit. P-value for all independent values show that it is less than 5 so we reject the known hypothesis. The test statistic significant at the level of the significant. The R2 indicated then the exchange rate, FDI, and current account balance can expand 98.05% of the variance in trade balance. Adjust R2 implies the exchange rate, FDI, and current account balance can expand 96.83, 97.83 of the variance. Diagnostic checking. Normality. Because the trade balance probability 0.57 is larger than the significant level 0.05, so the null hypothesis is non-rejected, indicated that the residuals are not distributed appropriately. 5.2 Autocorrelation. Correlation of the series. According to the table have been given, bar long enough to open one of the total lines signify autocorrelation that are significantly different from the zero at 5 significant level. The first 6 autocorrelation is 0.923, 0.846, 0.774, 0.655, 0.543, and 0.440 are significantly different from 0 at a 5% significant level. It is reasonable to conclude that there is strong evidence of autocorrelation. 5.3 Hydrochroticity. Informal method using graph. According to the graph have been shown, we will know the main problem of the informal method is that it is unclear how much of the trade is required to conclude that the model is hydrochroticity. It is necessary the use of the formal hydrochroticity test. So we will use the formal method, prime partner test. The value of the chi-scale statistic is 6.588 and the F value is 2.429, which are much higher than the greater value. The corresponding p-value are 0.086 and 0.087, respectively, with are greater than 0.05. So we fail to reject the non-hypothesis of homogeneity at the 5% significant level. Then test is statistic insignificant. So the error term is homogeneity. We conclude the model is homogeneity. 5.4 Multicollinearity. Multicollinearity test. Variance inflation factor, VIF. If VIF equal to 1, there is no multicollinearity problem. The VIF value of the all variables are greater than 1. All variables show that multicollinearity problem exists. The VIF value of all variables are less than 10. The multicollinearity problem are relatively low. So we can see the table have been given. Conclusion. In conclusion, we determine that when compared to other variables, the trade balance has the higher mean and median values. The exchange rate has the lower mean and median value of all the variables. The trade balance, exchange rate, FDI, and current account balance are all positive square with exchange rate tails. The conclusive value for all of the variables is positive, suggesting that they have heavy tails. We discovered that the exchange rate and FDI have a positive relationship with the trade balance. We have the model positive correlation. After running the correlation test, the line between the trade balance and the current account balance is also positive, showing a strong positive correlation. That's all from me. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.